So, welcome to the show, everyone. We're talking with Tooele City Mayor Debbie Winn tonight. We want to throw congratulations at her for her successful uh, rerun or incumbency run, and we want to, have her kind of lay out the kind of future path for Tooele, what she sees coming down the line, what is going to maybe be a continuance from the last 4 years, and what improvements are being made, and kind of where her mind's at. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot them out. But let's just kick it off. Congratulations, Debbie. That was a good run you had. Uh, I imagine it was stressful and tiring, a lot of running around.
Yeah, it's most of what I did was just continuing to do the job that I was already doing. It's not like you need to go out and campaign just by being an example and saying, hey, this is what I'm already doing. I think that carries over. But I am very, very grateful. It was stressful, but I asked for it. I asked to run. Very grateful and humble that the citizens elected me to serve again. So I know that there were many that thought we had moved in a good direction and that we want to continue that. And everybody knows when you go into a new job that sometimes it takes you a little while to get things going. And so the first good year was really a learning experience. We made a lot of changes, looked at things, and got a lot of things going. So it takes a little bit to do that. The next 3 years was just working hard. And as this campaign started, and I looked back at the things we'd accomplished, it was a huge list, a lot of things that we did good for this community. And then we look again at what needs to be done, and we've still got a huge list. It will continue to grow. So one of the things that happened a couple of years ago when the city council election was taking place, we had a lot of questions about what's our plan. When did we do our general plan last, and what do we got planned for the future? So we jumped right on board with that and said, let's update the general plan, which we did. We updated the master transportation plan. We have just completed and adopted an economic development plan. We did a drinking water system master plan. That took almost 2 years to do just that master plan.
Yeah, and if I could take a minute, that drinking water master plan is there was a lot that went into that. I mean, you guys had surveyors come out and people like figure out how to best capture the water and salvage as much water as we can. So if you don't mind, I'd like to dig in on that one a little bit. I find that interesting because that was the top of everyone's list.
Yeah, all of these plans are available on our website, so people can look and read them. And some are very interesting to some people, and some are maybe a little rather boring. But you don't just create a plan and then stick it on a shelf. Now we have to implement the plan. And what we did with the drinking water system master plan was that we collected all the data from the last 3 years of the water that was used in the city, and then what water we produced. Then we look at the growth that's coming, the projected growth. We look at the size of all of our pipes. So that delivery of the water is very important. We have to make sure we have water pressure and maybe not so much pressure in some areas, but all of that had to be put into this new database. And just collecting the information took an enormous amount of time. But as new development comes, we need to be able to tell them what size of water pipes that they need for their system. That was all included in this water master plan. It was also looked at what our current water sources are and what water sources will be available or could be made available in the future. So that's all in the plan. There's some suggested costs, but as you know what's happening with costs, they keep going up. So there's a couple of things that we're continuing to do with our water. Today, we have enough water for the citizens that live here. And we have enough water currently, if the wells continue to produce water, which it's all underground, you never know what's going to happen. But we have enough water for the current growth that has been planned. But that means we need to stay ahead. So right now at Tooele City, we are looking at drilling another well. That's our next thing. We have to do drill a new well about every 2 years to stay ahead of the growth. That's how we manage the growth. We got to make sure that the water is there. So we're looking at some different sites on the agenda for the next council meeting. In our work meeting, we will be talking about the projected costs, and we'll ask the council for approval to drill 1, 2, or even 3 test wells. We want to do the test first to make sure the water's good, at least at that point that we drill it. If the water quality looks good, then we drill a deeper and a larger well, and then we hope it produces the water. So that's what we're looking at. We're also working with the county and Grantsville City and Stansbury Park Improvement District, that in the future, we are looking to regionalize a water system, only in the fact that it would be basically a conservancy district that would look for other sources to bring water to our valley. That cannot be done overnight. And we are continuing to work to put that in process. So the citizens will hear a lot about that in the next few years.
And that process also entails us giving water to other locations as well if the need rises, correct?
Yeah, well, how it would work, which today we can do this. If we connected the water systems between Grantsville and Tooele to Stansbury and Stansbury to Grantsville, if one of us had something go wrong and we needed extra water, and one of the other entities were able to provide us some extra water, we could do an interlocal agreement and we could sell each other water. We can do that today. So we don't need a regionalized water system to do that. We need something to bring more water to this valley. We talk a lot about drilling wells. All of these entities, the 3 entities that have to provide water to their residents, are Tooele, Grantsville, and Stansbury. Mm-hmm. And as we drill a well, we say we're just putting another straw in the cup. So you guys know about cups and liquid in the cup and how many straws you put in. The more straws you put in and suck that water out, the faster the water goes away. Eventually, just thinking about what may happen is the water may run out someday. We hope that the aquifers stay full. That's why we hope and pray for snow in the mountains, because that water will run down, run into the earth, and then we pump it back out of those aquifers. None of us know how long that water will last, nor how many wells we can continue to drill. So we have to be thinking of the future, 10 years, 20 years, of how we can bring water from outside this valley into the valley.
Yeah, I looking at everything, I'm starting to realize that even if it's not something that's brought in full time, it needs to have kind of a plan of action in place so that it can happen, because we've had a few really dry years, and it's getting really it's making you nervous, especially if you spend any time outdoors or if you hunt. You notice those dry years have an impact on the game animals, and you really notice it when you get up there looking for deer or any upland game.
You bet. Everybody depends on the water, and water's important. That's what we have to survive. But as you look at the Wasatch Front and Utah County, their water doesn't come out of that valley that they're in. That water comes from outside those valleys. That's how we get water. I mean, water comes from the back in Vernal area in the Uinta Duchesne, in that area. They pump that water all the way to Utah County. So we know that's what will have to happen eventually. And if Tooele is going to continue to grow, we need to do it reasonably and make sure that we stay ahead of the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
Well-
our plan. Yeah.
Well, that's good. What other yeah, I kind of interrupted you on your beginning there, but the water's important. What other plans do we have going forward? I mean, from when you came on the first time, you've got the trailer to help people clean up their property. You know, if a person maybe needs more equipment, or a neighborhood, you know, they can gang in on that. That I think is outstanding. What
I actually
else?
saw that trailer. I passed it on Route 36.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
someone was using.
That's great. That's what we want to see, is people using that equipment.
Right. We've already had meetings to plan for May. Next May will be our spring cleanup. We call it our Take Pride Tooele month. And of course, we want people to clean up and do things all year long, but we'll do this big kickoff again and really push that trailer, which of course we want to do. But I'll tell you something we got really great going right now, and that is our economic development. So people will, a lot of times they'll be against the growth, but we always say, hey, we can't get the stores that you want here, and we can't get more jobs unless we have the people to fill those jobs and the people to shop at those stores. So we have a great economic development plan that we've put in place. We've involved every entity that you can think of in the county to be part of our plan to make this happen. But Tooele City has scored some really good things in the last little bit. Yesterday, we went out to Carvana. You guys know about Carvana?
I've seen it. They're
Okay.
they're building a big lot out there. That
Yeah,
is
big lot.
that is substantial.
We did a ribbon cutting out there yesterday, and one of their biggest concerns, which is with every new business, they're going to say, hey, we want to build in your city, but do you have the workforce? And we say, you know what? There's a large percentage of our workforce that leave the county every day. So if you'll provide some jobs that you pay good wages, and you're a good company and you're good to your employees, you're going to get your employees. And we hope to keep them here. And that serves a couple purposes. One is takes them off the road, saves all of that wear and tear on the roads. Also, it helps our air quality. They're not driving to Salt Lake. We want to keep them close to home. So in the last couple of months, Carvana has hired 100 employees.
Oh,
And at full build out, as quick as they can hire employees, they'll have over 600 employees at Carvana.
really?
Wow.
At a car lot. Well, the place is huge. I drive past there and I watch them building it, and it's a big
huge.
it's a big plot, but
110 acres. 110 acres.
600 employees. So you probably got salesmen and service and technicians and drivers.
Sales are all online. You buy a car.
Oh yeah,
online.
yeah.
And I'll tell you, we were so impressed with the system yesterday. Not only do they sell cars online, they buy cars online. So you can get on their website, if you want to sell your car, something that's up to 10 years old. They're not going to buy the old broken down stuff that maybe is another car in your yard there. Let's do the newer ones. But what they'll do is you put in some information about your car. They'll give you a price of what they'll pay you for that car. And if you agree to it, they'll come pick it up and hand you a check. You want to buy a car, you get online and you look at what they have available, shows you everything. That they have a really awesome system out there where they take the photos inside and outside the car, and you can just totally look at the car. It's really an awesome process. But they go through it. They're not going to sell anything that's not good. They're going to make sure they're all in great working order and they look good, because they are right now, they told us, the second largest used car sales company in the nation. They want to be number one, and they're headed to number one. So this plant is not a plant where they have the big, what do they call it?
The
big
vending machine.
Looks like the vending machine. Yeah.
Mhm.
They don't have that here, but they have one in
Lehigh. Yeah.
And they're building a few more in the state of Utah. But you can still get online. This is a place where they build the car or take the cars in and they fix whatever needs to be fixed, change the oil, clean them up, take the pictures, and then put them out for sale. And they can do a turnover they even said 3 to 5 days is they'll bring in a car. It's good. Somebody buys it and it's out of there. They bring it to your home. Then you've got 7 days to change your mind. If you say, hey, this is really not what I wanted, something wrong that you don't like about it, they'll come back and pick it up, get you another car. So it's a great company. They're paying excellent wages. They were able to hire, like I said, 100 people right off the bat, but they need more, and they will be, as they're expanding inside, they're still doing, bringing in machinery and equipment to refurbish the cars, that they will grow as fast as they can. So in January, hopefully they'll hire a good group of people. But so Carvana, we had this big ribbon cutting yesterday. That was really cool. The chamber and everybody was there. But in addition to that, yesterday, the governor's office of economic development and the Utah economic development released the information that they were going to give some incentives to a company called KCC. And this is a company that's already located in Tooele City, out near the technical college, and they are going to expand. It's a company that produces air conditioners and that kind of machinery for commercial areas. And they announced that Tooele had won. They were looking all over the Western United States and decided to stay here in Tooele and expand their location. So you're going to see some growth out there. Tooele City was able to sell some property to them out, like I say, near the technical college. So that was a big win for us yesterday. Economic development is happening. Plastic Ingenuity, we talked about that before. That's a plastic manufacturing company that makes containers for food and medical equipment. They are also hiring, and they are doing a great job of hiring people. So we're creating the jobs. As long as we have jobs here for our people that live here, as all the benefits we've already talked about, those companies pay huge property tax. And that will help us to be able to take care of our city and not have to raise property taxes for our individuals and for our residents. We want the businesses to come in and supplement that for us. So it's just very important to bring business here. And that's our big goal right now, on top of water, is economic development.
Well, and that also brings in competition. The businesses start competing with each other to offer better benefits or higher wages or better, work circumstances. It's an overall positive for the community, for the citizens.
It is. And now, we've still got COVID's an issue. Okay. We got it. It's still here.
Believe me, I know.
We've got the cost of everything is going up. We get that. But I will tell you what has happened in the last several months. There is a renewed interest in retail stores to come back, start building more stores, start coming in. So we've got developers now that are talking to these businesses that are saying, if you build the building, we'll come. So those efforts and those discussions are all being renewed, which is a great message that we may have some more restaurants, we may have some more retail coming in here soon. So it's looking really good. We're just looking at a good spot. Good stuff.
When we talk about good jobs in Tooele, you say, like, when you pay the right salary to the employees, they'll stick around. What are you finding is that magic number, that right salary to let someone live comfortably in Tooele?
What we try to do is we want to match what they can get in Salt Lake. So, of course, we know that it depends on what the job is. And so if it's a entry level, no training, no anything, we already know that you can make $15 at McDonald's right off the bat. So you've got to be over that. You've got to offer something more that will entice people to stay. And, a lot of times too, it's not just the amount of the salary, the dollar amount. You've got to look at benefits, but you've also got to look at that trip you're driving to Salt Lake every day. It's not just the extra time spent on the road, but it's the wear and tear on your vehicle, oil changes, tires, all of those things add into it. So if you can get a wage that's close to what you can get in the Salt Lake Valley, we believe that we're doing well. And that is where we're at. We are either close to that level or we're matching that level that you can get in Salt Lake. So we've just got to make sure we have enough jobs out there of different types for not only entry-level workers, but trained workers, professionals. We want to keep them here too.
Yeah, and give members of the community an opportunity to get into a trade and specialize also.
Yep, and these new businesses coming, it is so awesome to hear that they are working with the technical college. And we know we've got Utah State, we've got the university here where you can get master's degrees. We've got that here and they're taking advantage of that. But now we have this technical college that is not only training people for different types of business, but now these new businesses coming, they're going to set up machinery in the technical college to train people to work at Carvana, to train people to work at Plastic Ingenuity. So our technical college is going to continue to grow. And we hope with this next legislative session, we're going to be asking for money to expand that campus. And it has to happen. We have got the growth. Their classes are full. They've got to have more room. So we're going to really be pushing and hoping that the legislature will give us some money to expand that campus.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's outstanding. And that college provides a lot of services for the community you may not even see. I know businesses, if they need the big meeting hall, will rent that big meeting hall and use that, and then also get like the lunch or concessions provided through the college, and all the trainings. If you're in industry out here and looking for, forward momentum into maintenance, or if you're working in the medical field, that's right there. And it's fostered by the local businesses and supports the local businesses with the training it provides. It's outstanding.
Right. The state of our country right now, talking about the ships off of the coast of California down there, we need diesel mechanics and we need semi-truck drivers. We need them all over this country, and you can get that training right here in Tooele.
Then all you got to do is figure out how to do either of those jobs in the California.
Yep. You can still work out of Utah. You just need to drive there to pick the stuff up and bring it
Yeah.
back.
The problem that, I don't know. You hear talk that one of the issues is that semi-truck drivers are having a hard time meeting compliance of getting into California. They keep changing regulations, which means, say you've got an older Peterbilt, you've got to figure out how to update it to California's this year's regulation, and it's killing them.
It is. You're right.
I don't know. I don't drive semi-trucks, so that's there's probably more to it all than that. What other I don't know, continuances of momentum do we have going on?
Well, I'll tell you, we've been working on something that we're going to continue to work on, and I've had meetings with county leaders and with Grantsville. We think we need a regional animal shelter.
Oh, yeah.
So right now, Tooele City has an animal shelter that's obviously located in Tooele City, but it's down near our reclamation plant. And to get there, you go down through Erta and come back up to it because the road's not through. So since that shelter's been built, a lot of residents don't know that is just Tooele City's shelter. And they bring their animals there from all throughout the county. And we're full to the max. Dogs and cats, for the most part, we are full. Tooele City understands the importance of taking care of animals. And we work with some of the animal groups to get the spaying and neutering done. We will adopt out animals as quick as people will come down. They're all microchipped and they have their vaccines, and they have been either spayed or neutered, so that we can try to help with the issues we have with animal control. So as we have met with the county and Grantsville, we really have determined that we think we need to all work together rather than build our own animal shelters. Let's just enlarge the one that we have and use it as a regional animal shelter. So we're getting great support. We're having good dialogue. Where we're at in that conversation right now is Tooele City is going to take the lead and determine what we need to do to expand, what we think it may cost, capital funds to put out to enlarge our current facility. And then we will probably do interlocal agreements with the county and Urda City and the other cities and with Grantsville. And we will have one animal shelter for everyone to bring their animals to. We'll keep our own animal control officers probably to pick those animals up and bring them. But we just think that this will be a much more efficient way to handle taxpayer money than each of us building our own building. It's difficult. And Grantsville right now, they've been trying to put some money together to build a new building. Their current facility houses a few animals, but they don't have the staff to man it all day. So nobody's there just to take care of the animals. But we do have somebody at our animal shelter during the daytime. We're not open on the weekends, but we do have somebody there. And it does help when people can bring down animals or give us a call and we'll pick them up. But
or adopt.
More efficient. Yeah.
Or adopt animals. That way you get them. Yeah. Real quick, can you throw out some information if someone's looking to get their kid or their significant other Christmas joy dog or cat? Where do they go?
So get on Tooele City Animal Shelters. They have a Facebook page, and we also have information on our website. Facebook page is really active. We are so blessed to have volunteers that help us with that. And you can look on there, or you can just go down during the daytime and go look at the pets and hold them and find which one that you want and adopt it out. It's awesome.
Can you volunteer to work at the shelter?
You bet you can. You can come to City Hall, fill out an application, and to be a volunteer, and you can help down at the shelter. You bet.
Well, I'm on the page right now, and there's a couple of cute dogs on there. There's one named Grogu for you Star Wars fans. There's one named Winston. We've got Honey. I'm going to share the page on the happy hour and also on the links here. I like the I like that we have this going on. I didn't even know about this. We need to figure out how to advertise. We got little cats on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're looking for a pet for your significant other, check out the shelter. You know, give these dogs a second chance.
Yep.
I like it.
That's a good thing. And we're working together, and we have it figured out. We do really well, I believe, and I'm really excited to still get to know everybody that's on the Urda City Council, and we've met with them. We have a Council of Government meeting coming up next Thursday night, where that is a once a month meeting that we hold with all the leaders of the community. And we talk about this regional stuff and things we can do together. And we've invited those new city council members from Urda and are excited to have them be a part of the group.
That's good. I think they'll be thankful for kind of for a little bit of guidance. They're all just, it's just starting up. It's all brand new. I
can't even imagine. I really can't imagine starting a city.
Yeah.
They've got a challenge, but they can do it.
They've got some new interesting ideas as far as how they're going to do it. They're going without a mayor. They're just going to maybe have a spokesperson, one of the council members who is, and it remains to be seen how they're going to manage that, but it's going to be interesting. And I'm excited to see what they do with it and get feedback on lessons learned, I suppose. I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if it influences other areas to do the same thing and go on their own way.
Well, I think Lake Point already did.
Yep, they did.
Stansbury Park is holding strong still. and which is shocking. But I don't know. I don't know. So I really like the dog shelter thing. That's I like the idea of building a large one where you can get, if you can get all the cities together to, give an amount to where you can have someone that's there every day, someone that it's open for adoption every day. There's a phone call you can call if your animal goes missing, and you can see if it's been picked up there. I think that'll, I understand the need for the back end of the animal shelter, but I like the idea that we're going to try to do away with as much of that back end by putting a strong front end.
Yep. Yeah, that makes a difference.
It does. You okay if we go through a few comments real quick?
You bet.
All right. So Patty Dinkin says, "Yay, Debbie!" And yeah, congratulations.
Love Patty. She's awesome.
Yes. Now Tim asks, and this is our friend from New York. He asks, "Do you all not have enough water?" No, we do, but it's where we're in the desert. We don't have a steady flow such as rivers we can count on to run all the time or anything like that. Our closest constant running river is probably the Bear River, and that gets already wiped out pretty hard to support the growth at North Salt Lake. Stevie Sevens asked, open up the Kennecott water rights as designated for economic development to developers, and you will get the workforce through the rooftops. Sorry. Open up the Kennecott water rights. I'm not familiar with that. Can you?
I can tell you about it. You bet. You bet. Several years ago, Kennecott had a lot of water rights that were going to be taken back by the state because they were not being used. A municipality can hang on to those water rights a lot longer than an entity like Kennecott. So they asked the city to take those rights and put them in the city's name, which they are. But those rights cannot be used by a developer unless they are associated with what we call wet water or a water source. So all of those water rights, when we first took those over from Kennecott, we had to drill a well, which we did. We call it the Kennecott B well. There's about 700 acre feet of water in that well. And all of those rights for that 700 acre feet have been sold. Someone owns all of those water rights. They can only be used in Tooele City. Most of those are being currently used and some are still being held. But the Kennecott still sells that ability to use the water, but they can't sell that to a developer until we connect it to a well. And we, like I just told you a little bit ago, we are trying to drill another well, and the next well will totally be Kennecott water rights. Once we put those water rights into that well, and which we have to get approval from the state to make that change and put those rights there, they have to be tied to water. So we're drilling a well. Once that happens, we'll open it. But I'll tell you what will happen. As soon as those water rights are available, I think they will sell very quickly. So then it's looking on for the next well.
Yeah, you gotta keep your ear to the tracks on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Timothy asks, Blencow, I believe. I hope if I mispronounce any of your last names, I apologize. Again, 8th grade IQ here. Has there been much request in Tooele for a splash pad for the kiddos?
Yes. Yes, there has been many requests for a splash pad. So as we were looking at the expansion of England Acres, we did more investigation on a splash pad. We contacted several cities that have splash pads and how they work. We found out that they are quite expensive, and they are quite expensive to run. And that is because you're dealing with water, and you've got to make sure the water is safe so that there's nothing wrong with that and that somebody catches some kind of an infection or something from it. We got to be really careful. And we would be able to operate it for about 6 months out of the year, but we would have to have a full-time person to run the splash pad. Tooele City many years ago, when the pool was expanded, they put a splash pad there next to the pool. It's still there. It's within that enclosed fenced area down there. It didn't work very long until they had problems with it. And that's because of the way that it was built and set up, had a lot of electrical wires there that were exposed to water, and electricity and water don't get along very well. And so the cost, we looked into even repairing that one and to open that back up again. But the cost again to repair it and to run it were more than it was worth at the time. So I will tell you right now, a splash pad is not off the table. We still will consider of where we could put that, how we could make it work. And then I just want you to know that we are also talking with some developers who have talked about maybe putting in a splash pad. And if we could have a developer put it in and have to run it and not have that be city taxpayer money, that would make a lot of sense. So we're still talking about it, but yes, we've had many requests. People want a splash pad.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm not aware of what a splash pad is. Can you explain that?
There is, well, they're all throughout the world, I guess, but the nearest one, there's one in Gateway. And basically it pumps the water out of the ground.
And it shoots up into the sky.
Yeah, it shoots up and they run through it and play in it. They're fun. They are fun. There is a huge splash pad and water park. I believe it's one of the cities down in Utah County. Can't remember now if it was American Fork or whatever, but they got some kind of a grant for a couple $1 million and put in a huge water park, which is really, really great. It's a lot of fun, but it takes a lot of money to keep it running.
Yeah, I think the best ones you see and the best ran ones are usually the ones that are located in like the outdoor malls, because one, people are always there anyway, and two, you've got the commerce that supports running that. Yes.
Instead of taxpayer money, it comes from those businesses making money, and it brings business to people. Yeah, so we would love to see that happen.
Yep. Yeah. All right, Stevie Sevens. I hope I'm saying that right, Stevie. We need more requests for a dog park, and we all agree. A dog park, but then someone says, I did see they are building a new dog park here, so that is coming, thankfully. Where's this new one being built at?
Yeah, the dog park we have planned right now is at England Acres, and we have kind of a large area that will be a detention basin, and we have to have detention area for in case we have water, in case it does rain. And we know we've had a few floods. We know it does rain, but there is a detention area there that will be formed when the parking lot is completed and the pavilion and little pavilion and our little building that we're going to have there at England Acres. Once that is built, the detention area will be built, and that is where our dog park will be. It will be fenced. There will be a separate fenced area so you can go in and take the leash off your dog and then release it into the park itself. We have already had a donation by Rocky Mountain Power to put some benches and some other fun things in there for the dogs. We had a local contractor offer to build us a dog park up at the Skyline Park. But the Skyline Park was built, again, many years ago to be a nature park. And it was decided by city administration is to leave it as a walking park and not allow it to be, we'd have to put grass in or some other things. It's hard to clean up after dogs in tall weeds. And that's kind of what we've got up there because of the natural habitat that we've got up at the Skyline Park. So we chose not to put it there, but there will be a very nice dog park down at England Acres. Just so you know, if you want to drive down there and take a look, the curb and gutter has been poured now out on 7th Street. They're working on the parking lot right now, and also all the laterals that we had to have done to draw the stormwater through and the water have been completed. So now the pavilion will begin to be built. We have also had delivery of the playground that's going to be built there. It is huge. And all of that has been delivered. We have it at one of our storage sites right now, waiting to install that. So as soon as the weather's held out quite a while, but we are continuing to work through the winter to finish this next phase of England Acres. So drive by and watch what's happening. They're still working there.
That's fantastic. And for the listeners, what's the address of England Acres if they want to drive by?
England Acres is off of 1000 North, the east side of 1000 North, and it is between really Broadway and 7th Street.
Okay.
7th Street does not go all the way through yet, although that is also being worked on right now. We have a company that is going to finish that road. We had to put in a huge culvert for the Middle Canyon drainage ditch, and the culvert is right now, we're still waiting for that to be delivered, because you know what's happened with construction and delivery items. We are still waiting, but as soon as that's delivered, they'll get that road through, and then as soon as the weather warms up again enough, we will get it asphalted and the road will be finished. So this phase 2 of England Acres will be available. You can come in off of 7th Street and just almost to 1000 North.
That would be fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Building up. And Tooele's going to continue to build north. All right. We got one last question. Stevie says, how does Mayor Winn feel about the 2400 North being built through for the Overlake residents?
2400 North. Okay. Right now, that 2400 North is the little strip there that is by Home Depot.
Okay.
So you know where we're talking?
Okay, yeah, where they're building the high school and the temple in there, correct?
Yes, that's exactly. So right now, where that property ends, where the road ends, there's a roadblock there. Between that ending and 400 West, which is going to be right where the temple is being built. Between that 400 West and where that road ends is still private property. It is still owned by property owners. And in fact, at this point, there are 4 property owners. And the way that development works in the city is that when those property owners decide to develop, build homes, buildings, schools, anything that they build, they put the road in, they pay for the road to be built, and then they deed that property over to the city. Then it becomes a city street. So right now, even though the city does not own that road, I personally have talked to all of the property owners, and we've said, we don't want all of those construction trucks, especially for the temple, to have to go clear up to 1000 North and come back down 400 West. It would be much more efficient if they could come right off of SR 36 and go right down 2400 to the temple site. All 4 of those the property owners have agreed to allow that a temporary road to be put in there. And what I mean by temporary is they could come in with some road base and some gravel and make it a gravel road. It would not be open to the public, but it would be open to those that have to put construction trucks on that road. So they would have the ability to put something at a gate or something at both ends and only keep it open for their trucks. I have, again, personally met with all those property owners and also the LDS Church. They have agreed to put that road in. The only thing that I do not know is who's going to pay for that temporary road. It's not the taxpayers. It will be either those property owners will join in that or the LDS Church will pay for that. Somebody has got to put the temporary road in, which will really be beneficial to everyone. The sooner the road is put in, the better. But Tooele City does not have a way to make the property owners put that road in until they develop. So we hope development starts fairly soon. We know there's going to be a high school built, and the school district will be able to, they will have to finish their portion of the road when that school is built.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly in favor of it. Heavens, let's get those big trucks off of our roads.
Yeah, right there. That turn on 1,000 North is getting real congested with
Yes.
with haul trucks and things like that. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's a good idea. It allows them to get out on that Mid Valley Freeway and things like that way.
They
Versus
can come up that way too. Yeah.
Yep. It really it gives them an outlet instead of them coming down Main Street, which is already the most congested road, definitely in the city, and it competes with coming around by Lake Point and Stansbury in the valley. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
It does.
Well, that's all the questions we have.
Awesome.
Again, thank you for coming on, and you can expect me to hound you again here in a few months to have you come back on and just give us an update. I hope that we can continue to aid the citizens of the county with their, I learned something great today. I learned that the two major cities are working together to build an animal shelter. I'm an animal lover, and I think that's going to add more possibilities for more humane sheltering of stray animals, and I like that.
Well, I want. Go ahead.
I was going to ask if you could tell the audience about your swearing-in ceremony that'll be coming up shortly.
You bet.
Yes, on January 3rd.
January 3rd, Monday, January 3rd, by the charter that we have in the city of Tooele, states that we will be sworn in. So they will swear me in again as mayor. They will swear in also our two council members, Marisa Manzione and Dave McCall, at noon at City Hall. But I have also asked for our staff to do it on Facebook Live. So those of you who can't be here, be right there at City Hall, although you're welcome to come. You can see the swearing in on Monday. But I just want to express my appreciation to you too. Putting this format out there is really helping people to understand what government does and whose role it is to do what. And so I will come back anytime you ask me.
Excellent.
Outstanding. Yeah, that's
Appreciate
great.
it.
And yeah, thanks again. And I just want to say, I am one of those people who I have a broad idea of politics, but it's nice to see the city politics. We get lost in the big national politics too often, where I think the city politics is so much more important.
And we can all be involved.
Yeah, and it's something that
Make a
affects your
difference.
life. So,
Right.
so it's nice, and I'm glad that we can offer this service. I enjoy doing it. But again, Mayor Winn, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I want to say to everyone who ran and everything, this is our first interview after the election was over. I want to say, good job, everyone. I felt proud of this county, and I felt secure in what I heard. Everyone had a positive message, and maybe we're just lucky and we're in a small town or whatever, but everyone was very professional. Everyone was, I didn't hear any of the ugliness, and I really enjoyed that. That was important. But thank you so much.
Very welcome. Thanks, everyone.
Yes. All right, everyone. Mayor Debbie Winn, I am going to put the address to the animal shelters that we have now in the show notes for this page. And I'm going to reach out to the animal shelter Facebook page to see if they'd be willing to advertise anything they have on the happy hour just to increase the reach.
Great.
And yeah, everyone have a great weekend. Christmas is coming up. Look forward to our, I wanted to put it together tonight, but I'm still waiting on a few companies to get back to me, but we're going to put out the locally owned business list if you're looking for that last minute Christmas stuff, so that you can support your friends and neighbors in their ventures locally. But again, everyone have a great weekend.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Merry
Yes.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. All right. Well, and Mayor Winn, we'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks a bunch. Bye-bye.
Bye.